Most people chase attention like it's oxygen. They text too fast. They reply too long. They explain too much. They try to be impressive, agreeable, unforgettable. And in doing that, they become painfully predictable. Predictable is comfortable. Comfortable is forgettable. And forgettable is the opposite of obsession. Obsession does not begin with attraction. It begins with interruption. Think about the people who've lived in your head rent-free. It wasn't the loudest one. It wasn't the one trying the hardest. It was the one who disrupted your emotional rhythm. The one who didn't follow the script. The one who appeared intensely present, and then was suddenly gone. Not dramatically, not angrily, just gone enough to create a question mark where certainty used to be. And the human brain hates question marks. Machiavelli understood something brutal about power. People become attached to what they cannot fully control or predict. Certainty feels safe, but uncertainty feels significant. The mind circles it, replays it, analyzes it. Not because it's pleasant, but because it's unresolved. If you want someone mentally obsessed with you, you don't flood their senses. You occupy their mental space. There's a difference. Flooding overwhelms. Occupying lingers. The mistake most people make is trying to be constantly available. They think access equals value. It doesn't. Access reduces tension, and tension is the birthplace of desire. When someone can have you anytime, they stop having to think about you. You become background noise. But when access feels slightly uncertain, slightly earned, slightly out of reach, the mind leans forward. Obsession is forward-leaning energy. Picture this. You're in a conversation. You're fully present. Your eye contact is steady, not aggressive, just grounded. You listen more than you speak. When you do speak, your words are measured. You don't rush to fill silence. Silence is not your enemy. Silence is pressure. Most people scramble to relieve it. You let it breathe. And in that space, the other person becomes aware of themselves. They start wondering what you're thinking. They start adjusting, subtly performing. You haven't demanded attention. You've created a mirror. That mirror is powerful. Now here's where most people ruin it. They overstay. They squeeze the moment until it loses flavor. The key is to leave first. Not abruptly, not theatrically, but decisively. End the interaction at a high point, when the energy is good, when they're leaning in, when the conversation feels like it could continue. And then you step away. You've just created an unfinished sentence. The brain loves completion. When you deny it completion, it replays the moment trying to finish it on its own. That replay is where obsession begins. Not because you demanded it, because you engineered absence. Machiavelli wrote about being feared and loved, but beneath that was a deeper understanding. Control perception, and you control emotional investment. You are not trying to be adored. You are trying to be mentally prioritized. That means contrast. If you are always warm, your warmth becomes baseline. If you are always intense, intensity becomes normal. The mind adapts quickly, but if you move between warmth and distance, presence and absence, depth and lightness, you create contrast, and contrast creates memorability.
Imagine someone who laughs easily, listens deeply, shares something vulnerable, and then later doesn't immediately respond to a message, not as a game, not as punishment, but because they are not governed by urgency. Their time feels structured, their attention feels selective. Suddenly, the other person feels the shift, not dramatic enough to accuse, just subtle enough to notice. And noticing is everything. People become obsessed when they feel something is slightly slipping away. This is where discipline matters, emotional discipline, the ability to feel connection without collapsing into overexposure, to enjoy someone without orbiting them, to like without clinging. That emotional steadiness creates psychological weight. It signals that your life is not built around their reactions. Humans are magnetized to self-contained energy. Here's the darker truth. The more someone invests mentally, the harder it is for them to detach. Investment isn't just time, it's interpretation. When someone starts wondering what you meant, why you paused, what you're thinking, whether you're pulling away, they are investing cognitive energy, and the brain protects what it invests in. So how do you trigger that investment? You withhold full clarity. Not dishonesty, not manipulation, mystery. There's a difference. You answer questions, but not exhaustively. You reveal layers gradually. You let them discover you in pieces instead of handing them a complete blueprint. When everything is known too quickly, fascination dies quickly. Discovery is addictive. Think about the most gripping stories. They don't explain everything in the first act. They build tension. They hint. They foreshadow. They let you speculate. You stay, not because you understand fully, but because you don't. Apply that to yourself. When you share something personal, stop before it becomes oversharing. When you flirt, let it hang in the air instead of sealing it with reassurance. When you compliment, make it specific and rare, not constant and diluted. Scarcity increases perceived value. This isn't cruelty, it's psychology. Now, let's go deeper. Obsession intensifies when someone feels uniquely seen, not generically admired, seen. That means you observe details others ignore, the way their voice changes when they're excited, the topics that make them lean forward, the insecurity hidden beneath confidence. When you reflect those details back subtly, they feel recognized at a depth they rarely experience. But here's the twist. After seeing them deeply, you don't immediately chase their approval. You stay centered. You remain slightly unpredictable. You don't over-validate. That combination, deep recognition paired with emotional independence, is rare, and rarity triggers attachment. Because now they're thinking, they understand me, but I'm not sure I fully understand them. That imbalance creates intrigue. Another crucial layer, control your exits, the way you leave conversations, rooms, calls. Never drift out slowly. Drift feels weak. Choose your moment. Stand, smile, I've got to run, and go. That clean exit lingers. It signals internal structure. You are not waiting for permission to disengage. You decide when the experience peaks. People remember who controls the frame, and frame control is mental dominance without aggression. It's the calm certainty that you are not scrambling for validation. You are offering presence, not begging for it. This isn't about playing toxic games. Let's be clear. Manufactured cruelty backfires. Inconsistency rooted in insecurity feels chaotic. But controlled unpredictability rooted in self-possession feels powerful. The difference is intention. If you withdraw because you're afraid, that's anxiety. If you withdraw because you understand timing, that's strategy. Machiavelli would argue that power belongs to those who master perception. In modern terms, perception is narrative. What story are they telling themselves about you? If the story is simple, you're replaceable. If the story is layered, evolving, slightly unresolved, you become compelling. Compelling becomes consuming. But here's the final layer most people miss. Obsession only sticks when it's attached to emotion. If all you create is confusion, you become stress. Stress is eventually avoided. You need emotional highs, moments of laughter, moments of intensity, moments where they feel elevated in your presence. Those highs create dopamine spikes, the brain's reward chemical. Then your absence creates contrast. The brain associates you with both pleasure and tension. That combination is potent. It's the rhythm of presence and pause, depth and distance, warmth and withdrawal. Not extreme swings, subtle calibrations. You're not a storm, you're a tide. And tides reshape coastlines quietly. The ultimate irony is this: the more you focus on building your own world, your goals, your discipline, your passions, the easier all of this becomes. Because real unpredictability comes from having a life that does not revolve around one person's reactions. When you're genuinely busy building something meaningful, your time naturally becomes selective, your energy becomes valuable, your attention becomes earned. Obsession is not created by chasing, it's created by becoming mentally expensive. When someone feels that losing access to you would mean losing something rare, something stabilizing yet mysterious, something emotionally elevating yet slightly out of reach, that's when you move from attraction to fixation. And fixation is quiet. It shows up in delayed replies they overanalyze, in moments when your name appears in their mind without invitation, in comparisons they make between you and everyone else, in the subtle fear of losing your attention. You didn't demand it, you engineered conditions for it. Control your presence, control your absence, control your emotional temperature. Let them feel you deeply, but never completely. Let them understand you, but never finish mapping you. Stay grounded, stay disciplined, stay slightly ahead of the rhythm, because the mind does not obsess over what it owns. It obsesses over what it might lose.
If this stirred something in you, drop your comments below. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications for more hidden truths from Dark Mind Decoded. Guard your mind. It's the only kingdom no one enters without your permission.